So hello and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how I personally would start as a samurai in Elden Ring and how to become pretty decently OP at the beginning and until the fight to Margit, I guess. So, as I said, we're starting as a samurai, and as a keepsake I personally use the stonesword key, or take the stonesword key, because you can generally don't have enough of those. So yeah, let's start. So the first thing we're going to do is say hi to a little fella, the grafted scion, until he spawns, and then we're just going to jump off the cliff to die faster. After that we're just going to open up all the doors and greet the lovely lands of between. And now that we are the lands between, we are just going to say hi to Vera, the a lovely NPC who is telling us that we are maidenless. Take the grace, and then we're just going to progress like normal. Get 3 graces that we unlock our horsey. Don't forget to get the grace at Church of Elle. And get the smithing stone 1. Now we're just going to sit down. And say hi to Melina. Who's going to give us our new companion.
Of the finger they serve, but I can play turning root to aid you. You need to the foot. Then it set summon me. I bequeath. Use it. It will summon torrent. Treat him with.
Now that we have torrent, we are going to right first of all on this intersection. Don't forget to open that chest, because it has a flail which we are going to use later on. And now at that intersection we are going to turn left. And we are trying to get the next map fragment. After we found the new map fragment, we are going to try to get to the church. Get our Wondrous Physick. Okay, now we have our Wondrous Physick. And a Flask upgrade. We recover more life when we use our flasks. After we're done with that, we're going to go back to the first step grace. From here, we're just going to head left down to the beach. Now that we're down at the beach, we're going to turn left. And we're going to collect this item, and then we're just going to die. Because it's faster than wait until we're done out of the battle. After we respawned, we're going back to the church. The Church of America, where we got our Wondrous Physick. And there we are trying to get to that location. To use a teleporter to a different location where we're going from. From this new location we're just going to open those doors, get the grace. And either here or at any other grace we can just sit down, let Melina talk to us and take us through the road table hold, and then just go back. After we return from the round table hold, we're just going to follow this way. Just ignore all enemies you're going to pass. It's not worth our time to kill them right now, especially it would just take too long to gather the runes here. Don't forget to take the grace here. And now we are going to say hi to the lovely dragon here. And completely ignore him, basically. And here as well, we're just going to ignore that big enemy. The bearded avatar, and just head left from the tree. And behind the tree you will see that spirit spring, which we can use to jump up. Here we will just get the grace and head into the tower, or castle, sorry, not tower, it's more like a castle. In this castle again we're just going to ignore all enemies. Just want to get to the ladder here. Normally if you're fast enough and just go up the ladder, you shouldn't be poisoned or get by any enemies. Here we are just going to grab that half of the medallion for later on. Drop down. Ignore all the enemies again. Drop down again. Look out for the red. Grab golden rune 12 and just jump. Here just try to ignore all the reds again. Drop down and get the Radagon score signal. If you're lucky enough, you can escape without dying, but normally you just die here. Now that we have got the talisman, we're going to equip it. Basically gives us a little bit strength, dex, endurance and vigor, as a cost of just getting a little bit more damage. And after that we can finally equip the flail, which we are going to use to kill the dragon now. So just find a position where you can hit him with the Ashes of War. And we're trying to kill him with bleed procs, which the weapon has. So we're just waiting and using Ashes of War over and over again. And there you could already see one of the bleed blocks. Now at the moment where we know that the dragon is going to die by one more bloodlust proc, we're going back in our inventory and we're going to use the gold prickled foul foot to increase our runes gain, and then we're just going to kill it. What I just did was, after I saw that it died by the blood loss, I ran instantly with the torrent to the grace and sat down. This, what I'm currently doing, is an exploit which you can currently use. As you can see, I have 64,999 runes, but the dragon is still alive, so technically I could just do that over and over again. This is basically an exploit to get infinite runes. It's just something I wanted to point out. I normally don't use it, so 65,000 runes is plenty enough for a start. But if there are some people who are really struggling and want to make it a lot easier, they can do it like that. But I don't recommend it because it's not really nice to experience to be so much overpowered and kill every boss almost instantly. So now that we have all the runes, we can sit down and level up a little bit. I personally would probably go with this setup to get a little bit more HP, a little bit more endurance and just more damage, because we're going to scale dexterity a lot. After we are done with leveling, we're going to go back to the gatefront grace, set of grace, and just generally progressing the main quest. Don't forget to pick up the golden seed here. Get the grace. After that we are able to increase our flask by 1. Now we have 5 flasks already, plus 1. After that we are trying to get to this location here. Here we are trying to get the aggro from one of the trolls. And try to get this statue to get broken by one of the trolls. After that we are just trying to get them away from the statue, from the item it has. Try to ignore everything and just pick them up. Here you can find 5 smithing stones 1 and 1 smithing stone 2. After that you just try to escape. After we got the smithing stones from the trolls, we are going to head to the War Master's Shack to get the grace here, and if you want you can change up the Ashes of War if you're going to use. The current Ashes of War on the Uchigatana, which is the perfect starting weapon in my opinion, is Unchat, which has a vertical slash and a horizontal slash, which I'm not doing right correctly. This one. I personally really like the spinning slash, but you can basically use whatever you want. But before we can use Ashes of Wars, we have to get something. And this is here at the gatefront runes. Right here. Here you can first of all find the Ash of War Storm Stomp and the Whetstone Knife, which we're basically going to need for applying Ashes of Wars. Right after we got the Whetstone to apply Ashes of Wars, we're going to head to the lake right under that waypoint from the Egil Lake North, and we're trying to get to this mine, where we're going to get some more smithing stones. In the mine, don't forget to get the grace, the start. And now in the mine, just try to ignore the miners when you pick up the smithing stones. You can technically just ignore them all while taking all of them. But if they're too annoying for you, you can kill them all. Just remember to two-hand your weapon. During the time you're in the mine, you're unable to use fast travel, but the moment you exit the mine again, you should be able to teleport to the Rune Table Hold, where you can go to this map and get your weapon upgrades in.
No matter, lay out you.
And technically, with all of the smithing stones we got already, should be able to get our Uchigatana to +3. For that we needed 12 smithing stones 1. Technically, if you followed me in the mine, you should be able to get 13, but you only need 12. And now that we have our weapon ready, you technically go to Margit. Or if you want to, you could technically get another Uchigatana, which I'm going to show you as well. as well as more Flask upgrades, which I'm going to show you as well. If you want to have another Uchigatana, you're going to go to the War Master's Shack again, which we visited earlier, and going to head to this location, where you're going to find a closed door and this kind of ghosty guy. If you want to have the Uchigatana, you just have to follow the way I'm going now. Here it is, the Uchigatana. And now you have two Uchigatanas which you can use later on or right now, depending on what kind of build you want to play. I'm personally going to use one for the beginning until I get more smithing stones to upgrade both Uchigatanas. If you want to have more Flask upgrades, or more Flask generally, before the fight against Margit, I'm going to show you some golden seeds and sacred tears you can get before the fight. So first of all, here when I'm standing, next to the Bestial Sanctum, is another golden seed. I already collected it in this playthrough, but here technically is one as well. So on our way to get more golden seeds, we can actually get some upgrades for our Wondrous Physics as well, which are here right next to the Earth Tree. So first of all, the Spike Crack tier and the Green Crystal tier. For our next golden seed, we're going to go to this waypoint, the Fort Height West, and we're going to go to the Fort Height itself. So just right up the hill with Torrent and ignore all the enemies. And here you can find another golden seed. While we're already at the Fort Height, we can kill this lovely fella here to get another Ash of War, which is Bloody Slash, which is quite helpful and generally a really good Ash of War to use on the Uchigatana. If you like the Ashes of War, the basic one from the Uchigatana, the unsheathed one, but you want to go more in deck scaling, you're going to need the Ashes of War of it, which you can find where marked the location. And it's basically this lovely beetle here, which you can kill to get the Ashes of War. And as you can see, I got the Ash of War unsheathed. For our next Flask upgrades, we're going to need to go to a different location than Limgrave. We are going to head to the next location nearby, Weeping Peninsula. So first of all, we're going to start from the Egil Lake South waypoint, which is going to be found here. And we're just going to cross the bridge to head to the new location. Now that we are in Weeping Peninsula, we're going to go and get ourselves the new map for the whole area, as well as the next golden seed we can get. And that's how you're going to get the map and the next golden seed from the Weeping Peninsula. The golden seeds I just showed you are all the possible golden seeds you can technically get before the Margit fight, if you don't want to skip the whole area. And you're going to be left with exactly 7 flasks to use for the first boss fight. But those are not the only class upgrades you can get. There are 3 more upgrades you can get, but those are sacred tiers, which we're going to get as well. At all 3 locations that I just marked on the map, you're going to find sacred tiers, which allow you to recover more HP from each flask usage. We're going to visit all in order from 1, 2 to 3. I'm going to show you how exactly you can find them. In this church you can find the first sacred tier. At this location you're going to find the second sacred tier you can collect here. Here at this location you're going to find the last sacred tier. So technically you should be able to get your flask to +4 now. Before we're going to fight Margit, we're able to talk to Ranni, our waifu, where we're going to get something from her.
A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished. I am the witch Renne. I'd heard tell of a Tarnished, and upon looking into the matter, the talk I surmise is of thou art possessed of the power to call forth the spectral as I was entrusted this by Torrent's former master. 'Tis a bell for calling, summon them with it. The spirits will obey, now it is thine.
Now we're just right in front of the boss fight with Margit, well prepared with the dual Uchigatana, our main one with the Bloody Slash, Ash of War, which we got from the Knight. The other one a +0 basic Uchigatana, which we got from the catacombs. Then 7 flasks, which are all +4, as well as a flask of Wondrous Physick, with the stamina increasing bubble as well as the one which recovers half of auto HP. Now we should be well prepared to fight Margit. We technically are able to summon spirits now as well, but for the purpose of showing I'm not going to use it. Technically we could summon Rogea as well, but I'm not going to do that either.
Smoldering with thy meager flame. Cower in fear of the night. The hands of the fell Omen shall brook thee no quarter.
So yeah, that's basically it. That's how I personally would build my samurai at the beginning until I fought Margit. So we're currently 32, 28 vigor, 21 endurance, and 29 dex, which results in a 147 AR, as well as 7 Flask at +4. Now you should be able to start your adventure as a samurai. Enjoy!